They say growing old is a blessing, and it is. But there's a difference between aging and deteriorating. See, growing older doesn't have to mean looking older or feeling older. But far too often, we start developing habits after 60 or 70 that quietly age us faster than the calendar ever could. I'm not talking about gray hair or laugh lines. I'm talking about the slow, silent ways we neglect our bodies, our minds, and our spirit. Ways that can make us look and feel 10 years older, even when we still have decades of life left. And the hardest part? Most of us don't even know we're doing it. So today, we're going to break that cycle. Together, we'll explore 6 surprisingly common aging habits that make older adults look and feel older than they really are. And more importantly, how to reverse them while there's still time. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even beyond, and you care about healthy aging, self-respect, and preserving vitality, this is for you. This is not just cosmetic. This is elderly wisdom in motion. 1. Too much salt. Aging your skin from the inside out. One of the first places aging shows up isn't in your joints or memory. It's your skin. The dryness, the dullness, the puffiness under the eyes that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Most of us assume it's just genetics, or age doing what age does. But what if one of the biggest culprits behind your aging skin was sitting right in your salt shaker? The truth is, excess sodium quietly accelerates the aging process, especially in older adults. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at processing sodium. Our cardiovascular systems become more sensitive. So when we keep eating the way we did in our 40s or 50s, loaded canned soups, processed snacks, salty meats, we're overloading a system that can no longer keep up. That sodium builds up in our tissues, causing water retention, which leads to that familiar puffiness in the cheeks, the under-eye bags, the swelling in the hands and feet. But the damage goes deeper. Over time, excess salt pulls moisture out of our skin cells, leaving them dry, brittle, and less elastic. That's when wrinkles become sharper, and the face starts to look, as one dermatologist puts it, collapsed from the inside out. A study published in Dermatoendocrinology confirmed this. Researchers found that chronic dehydration combined with high sodium intake significantly accelerated visible skin aging, especially in postmenopausal women. And the worst part? Most of the participants didn't even realize they were dehydrated. I'll never forget what my friend Margaret told me. She's 76 now. She said, "I used to spend a fortune on creams that promised to tighten and lift. Nothing worked. But then a nutritionist told me, stop looking at the bathroom cabinet. Start looking at your kitchen." Margaret replaced her salt habit with lemon juice, garlic, rosemary. She started drinking more water, just 2 full glasses in the morning and 1 before bed. And within weeks, the swelling in her face reduced. The puffiness under her eyes began to fade. Her skin tone evened out. Not from serums, from soup, from salad, from food that finally supported her, instead of dehydrating her. And now she glows. Not because of a miracle, but because of a mindful shift. If you're over 60, 70, or 80 and wondering why your skin looks tired, look to your plate before you look to products. Because sometimes the most powerful anti-aging treatment isn't found in a bottle. It's found in what you choose to put on your fork. 2. Sitting too much. The retirement habit that speeds up. Decline. Retirement is supposed to be a time of rest, A chance to finally slow down, take it easy, and enjoy the days without a schedule. And yes, rest is important, but here's the truth. No one really tells you. Too much rest can age you faster than time ever could. After we turn 60, and especially after 70, our bodies respond to inactivity differently. When we sit for long hours, whether it's watching TV, scrolling through a tablet, or even just reading, we're not just being still. We're quietly signaling the body to slow down its systems. Our metabolism drops, circulation weakens, muscle mass begins to vanish, and slowly we start to feel and look older than we actually are. Have you ever seen someone whose posture begins to fold in on itself? Rounded shoulders, stiffness in their walk, slower reaction time. These aren't just signs of age. They're often the result of prolonged sedentary behavior. There's a study published in the journal Preventive Medicine that still stays with me. Researchers found that older adults who sat more than 7 hours a day had significantly shorter telomeres, the protective caps at the end of our DNA strands. And shorter telomeres are a direct marker of cellular aging. That means the more we sit, the faster our cells break down. George, my neighbor down the hall, is 79. For years he followed the same routine. Morning news, long lunch, afternoon movies, evening TV. By the time he hit 77, he was barely walking without a cane. And not because of injury, but because his body had forgotten how to move. Then came a minor health scare. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to shake him. His doctor gave him one simple task: stand up and stretch every 30 minutes. No workouts, no machines, just move. George took it seriously. He set a timer on his watch. He started pacing around the dining room between shows. He'd water his plants by hand instead of using the spray hose. He even began doing simple stretches while brushing his teeth. Within 3 months, everything changed. His blood pressure improved. His digestion got better. But what surprised him most? People started saying, "George, you look younger." And he did. His face looked less puffy, his shoulders pulled back. He moved with more ease and more energy. This is what life after 70 is really about. It's not about slowing down. It's about moving smarter. If you're over 60 and spend most of your day sitting, here's the gentle truth. You don't need to join a gym. You just need to honor movement. Stand while you talk on the phone. Stretch your arms while you wait for the kettle to boil. Walk to the mailbox instead of asking someone to bring it in. These little acts, done daily, create ripple effects. This isn't just exercise, it's self-respect. 3. A negative outlook. What bitterness does to the face and brain. We all know someone who seems to carry the weight of the world in their expression. The frown lines etched deep, the tightness around the mouth, the heaviness in their eyes. As we age, we begin to believe that negativity is inevitable, that cynicism is just a symptom of wisdom. But the truth is, chronic negative thinking doesn't just impact your mood. It literally changes the way you age. A long-term study from Yale University showed that older adults who held more negative beliefs about aging had a 30% greater decline in memory and functional ability over time. Another study published in Psychosomatic Medicine found that chronic pessimism and anxiety increase cortisol production, which breaks down collagen, dehydrates the skin, and accelerates the appearance of wrinkles and dullness. This means the way you think doesn't just show on your face. It shapes your face. I remember Helen, a retired school principal I met in a wellness program. She was 84 but had the kind of peaceful presence that drew people in. She smiled often. She listened deeply. Her skin was soft, her eyes bright. One day someone asked what her secret was. She laughed and said, "Forgiveness and laughter. Every day, no exceptions." Meanwhile, I've known people decades younger who seemed hardened by life, anger in every glance, resentment in every word. It showed, not just in their spirit, but in their posture, their skin, their very presence. Life after 70 comes with plenty of hard truths, but how we respond to them, how we choose to interpret them, determines whether we soften or harden with time. This is where elderly wisdom meets neuroscience. What we feed our minds, our bodies reflect. So yes, vent when you need to, cry when you must. But don't let bitterness build a home in your heart. You're too wise to let stress write the rest of your story. 4. Poor sleep, the fastest way to age overnight. Of all the silent accelerators of aging, this one may be the most overlooked: sleep. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. It's when the body restores collagen, clears brain toxins, balances hormones, and reduces inflammation. So when we treat sleep as optional, especially in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, we pay for it with more than fatigue. We pay for it in our skin, our memory, our mood, even our immune strength. A study from the University of California, Los Angeles found that just one night of poor sleep triggered gene-level changes in older adults that accelerated biological aging. Yes, your cells can age overnight. But the problem is, sleep gets harder as we age. Melatonin levels drop, bladders become overactive, anxiety increases. All of that is normal, but surrendering to bad sleep isn't. That's what James thought for years. He was 82, sharp-minded, but always looked worn out. When we talked, he said he hadn't slept a full night in over a decade. "I guess I'm just old," he said. But he wasn't broken. He just needed to rebuild his rhythm. He started winding down early. No screens after dinner. Dim lights, soft music, warm milk with cinnamon. He kept his room cool and quiet. And after a few weeks, something changed. He didn't just sleep better. He looked better. His eyes were clearer. His face was softer. He had more life in him. Advice for the elderly should always start with sleep, because without it, the body doesn't just struggle, it breaks down. You don't need 10 hours. You just need deep, uninterrupted rest. And you absolutely deserve it. 5. Not drinking enough water. Internal dehydration is visible. Most older adults walk around dehydrated and don't even know it. Our sense of thirst naturally dulls with age. By the time we feel thirsty, we may already be missing out on the water our bodies need for circulation, digestion, brain clarity, and yes, healthy skin. Dehydration doesn't just dry you out. It shrinks your cells, weakens skin elasticity, slows metabolism, and increases the appearance of aging. According to a study published in Nutrition Reviews, hydration alone can improve the texture, plumpness, and tone of the skin in adults over 60, but most don't consume the recommended amount, which is at least 1.5 to 2 liters a day. Linda, a 74-year-old retired pianist, used to complain about tight skin and brain fog. Her doctor didn't prescribe anything, just water. She committed to 6 glasses a day. To make it easier, she added fruit slices, used a fancy glass, even set a little reminder on her phone. Within 2 weeks, she felt sharper, her digestion improved, and her skin brighter, she said, like someone turned the lights back on. No collagen powder, no expensive treatments, just water. In this era of healthy aging, we're obsessed with creams and serums, but we forget the most basic truth. Your skin is an organ. It needs hydration to function. So the next time you feel tired, stiff, or older than usual, start with a sip of water, maybe two. It might be the simplest act of self-care you ever commit to. 6. Avoiding the sun entirely. The vitamin D trap. We've been told for years to avoid the sun, to wear sunscreen, stay in the shade, protect our skin. And yes, too much sun causes damage. But now we're facing the opposite problem. Too little sun is aging us, too. Vitamin D deficiency is one of the most common and overlooked problems in older adults. It affects bone density, mood, muscle strength, and immune function. According to the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, over 60% of seniors in the US are vitamin D deficient, especially those who spend most of their time indoors. Low vitamin D levels have been linked to fatigue, depression, cognitive decline, and even skin thinning, making wrinkles more visible and healing slower. The fix isn't to sunbathe, it's to reconnect with light. George, 78, was always inside. His doctor prescribed vitamin D supplements, but he also encouraged a new habit: 15 minutes of gentle sunlight each morning, walking in the garden or sitting on the porch. George started doing it daily. He now calls it his morning reset. His energy improved, his back pain eased, and yes, he looks more vibrant. Life after 70 doesn't need more darkness, it needs more balance. A little light, consistently applied, brings clarity, warmth, and life back into the aging body. So step outside, lift your face to the sun, let your body remember what vitality feels like. You don't need a facelift, a supplement stack, or a magic cure to age well. You need awareness. Most of these aging habits aren't malicious, they're just unconscious. But now that you see them, too much salt, too much sitting, negativity, poor sleep, dehydration, and vitamin D deficiency, you can begin to shift, one small choice at a time. Because life after 70 doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean refinement. And if no one has told you this lately, it's not too late. Not to change, not to glow, not to grow. If you found this helpful, share it with someone you love. And subscribe to the channel for more real-world advice for the elderly, science-backed health tips and timeless lessons from wise elders who've been there. You're still writing your story. Let's make these years the ones that shine.